The sun begins to rise over the endless stretch of savanna. Golden light spills across the tall grass, and for a moment, everything feels peaceful. Serene, even. But don't be fooled. Out here, beyond the safari jeep's steel frame and the guide's calm voice, you've entered a realm ruled not by humans, but by instincts sharpened over millions of years. A place where eyes watch you from the underbrush, where the silence isn't quiet, it's calculating. This is the wild heart of Africa. Beautiful, untamed, and unforgiving. Most visitors come chasing the big five: the lion, the elephant, the rhino, the buffalo, and the leopard. But what they don't tell you in the brochures is that these icons are only the tip of the spear. Beneath the spectacle lies a brutal reality. The animals out here are not just majestic. They are masters of ambush, of intimidation, of raw power. Some will trample without hesitation. Others strike before you even realize you're in danger. And some, they kill without a sound. So buckle in, because we're about to journey deep into the wild to uncover the most dangerous animals you might come face to face with on safari. Not the ones you hope to see, the ones you pray you never do. In the vast, sunburned plains of Africa, where lions cast long shadows and elephants thunder through the dust, there's a predator that moves like a ghost on the wind, silent, fast, and utterly relentless. It's not as famous as the big cats or as feared as the crocodile, but don't let its size fool you. The African wild dog, also called the painted wolf, is one of the most efficient and terrifying hunters on the continent. When it appears, death follows with terrifying precision. Lean, long-limbed, and covered in patches of black, brown, white, and gold, the African wild dog looks like it was stitched together from scraps of camouflage. But don't mistake that patchwork coat for clumsiness. These animals are built for war, with oversized ears that swivel like satellite dishes and bodies engineered for endurance. They can run their prey to the edge of exhaustion and never lose focus. Unlike the solitary hunter or ambush predator, wild dogs rely on something even deadlier: teamwork. A pack of African wild dogs doesn't just hunt, it orchestrates. Their chases can last for miles, with individuals breaking off, flanking, coordinating in real time as if guided by an unseen commander. And once the target falters, a young impala, a wounded kudu, even a zebra, the dogs descend. There is no hesitation. They rip and tear with surgical speed, often disemboweling prey within seconds. The kill is swift and brutal. Some victims don't even have time to hit the ground before it's over. With success rates reaching up to 80%, far higher than lions or leopards, African wild dogs are arguably the most effective predators in Africa. They hunt with strategy, discipline, and a frightening level of efficiency. No roars, no spectacle, just speed, silence, and blood. They range across fragmented parts of sub-Saharan Africa, preferring open plains, savannas, and lightly wooded areas. But their numbers have plummeted. Habitat loss, conflict with humans, and disease outbreaks have devastated their population. Once numbering in the hundreds of thousands, fewer than 7,000 remain in the wild today. But don't let their rarity fool you into thinking they're fragile. These dogs are survivors. Packs form tight social bonds, caring for sick or injured members, raising pups communally, and even feeding those who can't hunt. Their strength doesn't just lie in fangs or speed. It lies in unity. As predators, they have few enemies. Lions will kill them out of competition, and hyenas may steal their kills, but even the fiercest rivals hesitate before taking on a well-coordinated pack. And while humans don't often fear them, the truth is, if you're out there in the bush and you hear that eerie, high-pitched twittering sound that marks a pack on the move, you'd better hope you're not what they've chosen to chase. Surviving a wild dog encounter as a human isn't common because attacks on people are extremely rare. But if you're on foot and alone, stay alert. Don't run. Wild dogs are keyed into movement and weakness. Back away slowly, stay upright, and try to make yourself appear large. If you're lucky, they'll move on. They don't waste energy where there's no reward. Out here, in the raw pulse of the wilderness, the African wild dog reminds us that the most dangerous predators don't always come with claws the size of knives or roars that shake the earth. Sometimes they come in packs. They come with purpose. And when they come, they don't leave until the hunt is done. High above the safari trails, where the branches sway and dappled sunlight dances through the leaves, danger slithers unseen. There's no roar, no growl, just the rustle of leaves and the faintest glimmer of scales weaving through the canopy. This is the boomslang, a slender, soft-stepping serpent that doesn't need brute force to kill. It just needs one bite. Measuring up to 6 feet in length, the boomslang looks deceptively harmless. Its thin body, oversized eyes, and habit of quietly watching from tree branches give it an almost innocent appearance. But beneath that calm exterior lies one of the most potent venoms in Africa. The boomslang's bite doesn't cause instant collapse. Instead, it delivers a slow, horrifying death. Its venom is hemotoxic, designed to dismantle your blood from the inside. It destroys your body's ability to clot, triggering massive internal bleeding. Victims might feel fine for hours, until their gums bleed, their nose runs red, and their organs begin to fail. And that's what makes it terrifying. The boomslang is not aggressive by nature. It doesn't chase or provoke. But when threatened or cornered, it will strike fast and without hesitation. Its venom was once underestimated, dismissed because its fangs are set far back in its mouth. That illusion of safety shattered when renowned herpetologist Carl Schmidt was bitten, believed he'd survive, and died documenting every step of his slow decline. Unlike cobras that flare hoods or vipers that hiss and coil, the boomslang doesn't warn. It ambushes birds, chameleons, frogs, and small mammals, striking from branches with lethal efficiency. With eyes sharper than most snakes and incredible agility in the trees, it doesn't miss. And once the venom is in, it simply waits for the prey to succumb. Found across sub-Saharan Africa, particularly in savannas and forest edges, it's masterfully camouflaged. Greens and browns ripple across its scales, allowing it to disappear into the foliage. Most people walk beneath it without ever knowing it was there. It has few enemies. A bird of prey or larger snake might challenge it, but its stealth keeps it safe. And for humans, it's not looking for you. But if you get too close, too curious, or too careless, it can turn deadly in an instant. The antidote exists, but it's rare, and time is critical. Once symptoms set in, survival becomes a race. On safari, it's easy to focus on what's in front of you, what moves through the grass. But sometimes, the real danger is above, silent, still, and watching. Because in the trees, the boomslang waits, and when it decides to strike, it won't just ruin your trip, it could end your life. When the sun dips low over the African plains and shadows stretch long across the savanna, that's when you hear it. A cackle in the dark. Unsettling, eerie, almost human. But it's not laughter. It's a warning, a message. Something is coming, and it doesn't care if you're armed, armored, or already dying. It smells blood, and it's not alone. The spotted hyena is not the clumsy scavenger it's often made out to be. It is a tactician, a predator, and a ruthless survivor that thrives where other animals fail. At first glance, it may seem awkward, sloping back, oversized neck, hunched shoulders. But that shape isn't a design flaw. It's power, perfectly engineered. With jaws strong enough to crush bone and a bite force exceeding 1,100 pounds per square inch, the spotted hyena can shatter a wildebeest femur like it's dry kindling. Unlike lions, it doesn't need to suffocate its prey. It simply tears you apart while you're still alive. And they never come alone. These aren't lone wolves, they're pack hunters, operating in clans that can number over 80 individuals. Coordinated, calculated, intelligent. They communicate constantly, using a complex range of whoops, giggles, growls, and shrieks to signal danger, issue orders, or rally reinforcements. Their hunts are collaborative assaults, driven more by strategy than brute strength. They don't charge recklessly. They isolate the weak, test the boundaries, probe the herd until something breaks. And then the chaos begins. Their diet? Everything. They're hypercarnivores with an iron stomach. Rotten meat, bone, tendons, hooves, they consume it all. They've been seen chasing down zebras, bringing down young buffalo, and even robbing kills from lions and leopards. And if the opportunity arises, they'll test a human too. Tourists who wander too far from campfires, bushwalkers caught alone in the twilight, hyenas notice. They stalk, they test. Their habitat is just as expansive as their appetite. Spotted hyenas range across much of sub-Saharan Africa, grasslands, savannas, mountains, even semi-deserts. If there's food, they're there. And while most predators shy away from human activity, hyenas have learned to thrive near it. Campsites, waste pits, carcasses left behind by poachers, these are buffet lines for them, and they don't fear easily. Lions are their only real rival, and even then, hyenas will stand their ground in numbers. There are recorded battles where hyena clans have forced full-grown lions to retreat. Their hierarchy is brutal, led by dominant females who are larger and more aggressive than the males. In fact, their social structure is matriarchal. Every male ranks beneath even the lowest-ranking female. Power is inherited, and weakness is punished. What makes them truly dangerous isn't just their physical strength or their numbers, it's their intelligence. Spotted hyenas are problem solvers. They've opened latches, worked in teams to steal food, and even outmaneuvered seasoned hunters. They remember, they adapt, they learn, and out here in the wild, they're watching. So if you hear laughter while sitting around a campfire, don't laugh back. That sound in the dark might be closer than you think. And when the hyenas come, they don't hesitate. They don't show mercy. They don't fear the living or the dead. They simply feast. In the murky waters of Africa's rivers, lakes, and wetlands, danger lurks beneath the surface, invisible to the untrained eye. But if you're unlucky enough to venture too close, you'll realize just how quickly the water can turn deadly. The Nile crocodile, ancient, cold-blooded, and merciless, lives in these depths, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Don't be fooled by its slow movements on land, or the way it sunbathes lazily along riverbanks. Underneath that false sense of calm lies a predator that has been perfecting its lethal tactics for millions of years. Powerful jaws, capable of exerting a bite force of over 5,000 psi, can snap a zebra, antelope, or even a lion in half with ease. But it's not just the bite that makes the Nile crocodile so dangerous. It's the ambush. It waits, motionless, blending with its environment until an unsuspecting animal, drinking, bathing, or simply passing too close to the water, becomes its next meal. Once it strikes, the croc's speed is blinding. Its jaws close with a force that can crush bone and drag its prey beneath the water's surface in a deadly death roll. This technique is a twisting, spinning motion that disorients its victim and helps the crocodile tear apart flesh and muscle. The Nile crocodile doesn't need to chase or chase down its prey. It simply lets the world come to it. And when it does, it's ready. Though it primarily hunts in water, the Nile crocodile has been known to lunge out onto land to capture unsuspecting animals, including humans. It's especially deadly to those who approach the water's edge, unaware of the dangers below. The crocodile's habitat ranges across sub-Saharan Africa, thriving in slow-moving rivers, lakes, and marshes. Its territory can span hundreds of miles, making it a constant, lurking threat to anyone who ventures into its domain. In the wild, the Nile crocodile has few natural predators, but it's not without its challenges. Lions, hyenas, and even leopards may occasionally come into conflict with crocodiles, but the sheer power and territorial nature of the croc make it a fearsome foe. Even elephants, when they stray too close to the water, can fall victim to these predators. So, how do you survive an encounter with one of Africa's deadliest reptiles? First, don't approach the water's edge without caution. Crocodiles are fast, and they're patient. Always stay at a safe distance. If you're in a boat or vehicle, never venture too close to the shoreline. And above all, Never swim in areas known to be inhabited by Nile crocodiles? If you do, the consequences could be fatal. The Nile crocodile doesn't need to chase you to kill you. It simply waits for you to wander too close to its territory. When it strikes, it does so with a speed, efficiency, and brutality that leaves little room for survival. It's one of Africa's apex predators, a true master of ambush and patience. There are creatures in the wild that inspire legends. And then there's the black mamba. If fear could take the form of an animal, it would be this. It is Africa's most infamous snake, and for good reason. The mere mention of its name strikes a primal terror, for this sleek, hyper-aggressive predator has one goal: to kill. Swiftly, mercilessly, and with lethal precision. The black mamba's appearance alone is enough to send a chill down your spine. Reaching lengths of up to 14 feet, its long, sinuous body is covered in a dull, grayish-brown hue. But it's the inside of its mouth that tells you just how dangerous this snake truly is. When it opens its mouth to strike, you're greeted with the dark, ominous blackness, a warning you don't get a second chance to heed. But it's not just the black mamba's appearance that makes it a terror, it's the speed. This snake can move at an astonishing 12 miles per hour, and it strikes with the precision of a skilled marksman. It doesn't hesitate. If it feels threatened, the black mamba will charge, unrelenting in its pursuit. Unlike many snakes that bite once and retreat, the black mamba will deliver multiple strikes in rapid succession, injecting a potent neurotoxic venom that acts quickly to paralyze and kill. Victims often collapse within minutes, unable to move or breathe, their body locking up as the venom destroys the nervous system. The venom itself is a cocktail of deadly toxins that can shut down the respiratory system in mere moments. Without immediate medical intervention, the chances of survival are slim. Antivenom exists, but it's rare, and the clock is ticking fast once bitten. And despite its fearsome reputation, the black mamba doesn't actively seek out human conflict. It's a defensive predator. If you give it a wide berth, it will often retreat. But if you get too close or corner it, there's no stopping it. The black mamba's habitat is as terrifying as the snake itself. It slithers through the savannas, woodlands, and rocky hillsides of sub-Saharan Africa, typically hiding in crevices, abandoned burrows, or underbrush, waiting for the right moment to strike. It primarily preys on small mammals and birds, but it can take down larger animals if given the chance. Its venom isn't just designed to kill, it's designed to incapacitate its prey quickly, making it easier to swallow. For all its lethality, the black mamba does have a few enemies. Larger predators, such as hawks, eagles, and some carnivores, may occasionally target young mambas. But these snakes are built for survival, fast, deadly, and adaptable. They are often more dangerous because of their adaptability to different environments, their speed, and their aggressive nature. Even experienced snake handlers know, one wrong move around a black mamba, and it could be your last. Survival around the black mamba requires extreme caution. Never approach one, and if you see one in the wild, give it as much space as possible. If you do get bitten, immediate medical treatment is your only hope, and even then, time is your most precious commodity. In the world of deadly animals, the black mamba reigns supreme, a silent assassin that moves like lightning and strikes with no warning. To cross its path is to risk everything. The leopard is a silent hunter, a shadow in the night, and a master of stealth. While lions and hyenas roar and charge, the leopard moves through the savanna with quiet grace, unseen and often unnoticed. With its spotted coat blending seamlessly into the foliage, it's a predator that you rarely see coming until it's too late. Leopards are built for stealth and speed. Their slender, powerful bodies are designed to climb, run, and leap with exceptional agility. They are among the most versatile predators in the wild, capable of ambushing prey on the ground or snatching it from the treetops. It's the latter that makes them terrifying. Unlike other big cats that take down prey in a ground-based tussle, leopards often drag their kills up into trees, avoiding scavengers like hyenas and lions. In this way, a leopard can eat undisturbed for days, high above the dangers of the savanna. Their diet consists of medium-sized ungulates, such as impalas, gazelles, and warthogs. But leopards will hunt whatever they can overpower: birds, monkeys, and even baboons. They are solitary creatures, hunting alone and only coming together to mate. Their incredible hunting skills combine patience and speed, waiting motionless for hours before sprinting toward their prey with sudden bursts of acceleration. But it's not just the leopard's ability to hunt that makes them formidable. It's their stealth. A leopard's ability to move silently through the grass, with the flicker of its spotted coat the only clue to its presence, makes it nearly impossible to detect until it's too late. And for prey, it's the suddenness of the attack that proves most lethal. By the time a creature hears the snap of a branch or a rustle of leaves, the leopard has already launched itself onto its target. In terms of threats, leopards are less vulnerable to larger predators like lions, although they may occasionally clash with them over territory or kills. Hyenas, however, are a more consistent threat, especially when the leopard has made a kill. But the leopard's ability to retreat up into trees ensures its survival, making it one of the most difficult animals to take down. Their habitat stretches across sub-Saharan Africa, where they are commonly found in forests, savannas, and grasslands. But they are also capable of living in mountainous areas and even urban environments. Adaptable, leopards thrive in a range of conditions, from the heat of the African plains to the cool heights of the Himalayas in Asia. For humans, leopards can be dangerous, though they typically avoid contact. Attacks on people are rare, but have been known to occur, especially when leopards feel cornered or threatened. If you encounter one, slowly back away, maintaining eye contact without turning your back. Stay calm and make no sudden movements. The leopard is an apex predator, quiet, elusive, and deadly. Its unmatched ability to move undetected and strike with precision makes it one of the most dangerous animals you can meet in the wild. In the heart of the African savanna, where the grass sways and the sun beats down like an unforgiving furnace, there's a king, the lion. Majestic, fierce, and terrifying in its raw power, the lion stands as the undisputed ruler of its domain. But don't let its regal mane or royal demeanor fool you. This is no benevolent monarch. When a lion hunts, it becomes a ruthless predator, a creature capable of turning the most peaceful landscape into a battleground. Lions are not just symbols of strength and courage. They are the very embodiment of lethal efficiency. With muscular, tawny bodies and razor-sharp claws, they are built to stalk, chase, and kill. But what truly sets lions apart from other big cats is their social structure. Unlike solitary predators like tigers or leopards, lions hunt in coordinated groups called prides. This gives them an advantage few can match. A pride of lions is a finely tuned machine, each member playing a role in bringing down prey, whether by outflanking, herding, or even driving prey toward waiting ambushes. The lion's hunting style is a deadly combination of strategy and brute strength. Lions often stalk their prey from cover, using the tall grasses or bushes to get within striking distance. Then, when they're close enough, they pounce, attacking with explosive speed. But the true horror of a lion's hunt comes in its teamwork. While some members of the pride hold the prey in place, others move in for the kill. Lions have been known to take down large, dangerous animals, zebras, buffalo, even young elephants, with nothing more than sheer willpower and the strength of numbers. Despite their status as apex predators, lions are not invincible. Hyenas will steal their kills without hesitation, and other predators such as crocodiles and even wild dogs may challenge their dominance. But lions have one thing those others don't: a terrifying sense of pride, literally. They defend their territory with brutal force, and when their pride is threatened, they fight like no other animal in Africa. The lion's habitat stretches across Africa's savannas, grasslands, and open woodlands. They prefer open spaces where they can easily spot prey, and they're always near water, which makes them a consistent threat to animals in their domain. Lions primarily hunt herbivores such as wildebeest, antelopes, and zebras, though they will scavenge when the opportunity arises. Their diet varies based on the availability of prey, but their ability to bring down large, strong animals makes them an apex predator in their own right. For humans, encounters with lions are rare, but they do happen, especially in safari parks or areas where lions and people coexist in close proximity. If you find yourself near a lion, it's important to remember: never turn your back on it, and never, ever run. Lions are more likely to chase down fleeing animals. If you're in a vehicle, stay inside and avoid getting too close. If you're on foot, back away slowly and avoid making direct eye contact, which could be seen as a challenge. The lion's roar is one of the most iconic sounds in the animal kingdom, a booming, guttural noise that can be heard up to 5 miles away. It's a sound of dominance, a warning to all other animals that this land is the lion's. And when that roar echoes across the savannah, you can be sure the king of the jungle is near, watching, waiting for his next opportunity to remind the world of his reign. There's something unsettling about silence on the savannah. No birdsong, no rustling grass, just the dry, heavy stillness of midday heat. Then, through the shimmering mirage, it emerges, massive, horned, and stone-faced. The Cape buffalo. You've probably heard it called the Black Death. And if it decides you're a threat, there's no roar, no growl, just a sudden charge that ends with bones breaking and bodies crushed beneath nearly a ton of raw, untamed fury. This is not a predator. It doesn't stalk its meals or ambush prey. But that makes it no less dangerous. In fact, it's the unpredictability that makes the Cape buffalo one of the most feared animals in Africa. Weighing up to 2,000 pounds with thick, curved horns and a shoulder hump packed with muscle, this beast is a living battering ram. It doesn't bluff, it doesn't warn, it attacks. It might seem slow at first glance, grazing in a herd or wallowing in the mud. But if threatened, even by a subtle shift in posture, it can explode into action, galloping at over 30 miles per hour. The charge is silent until it's too late, and when it hits, it doesn't just knock you down, it tramples, gores, and circles back to make sure you don't get up again. There are countless stories of hunters and safari-goers underestimating these creatures, only to be blindsided by a second charge after thinking the danger had passed. Unlike many prey animals that flee at the first sign of danger, Cape buffalo stand their ground. If one member of the herd is injured or threatened, the others may return to fight. There have been documented cases where buffalo have chased off lions, flipped vehicles, or formed defensive circles around calves. Horns out, eyes locked, daring predators to try their luck. And sometimes they win. Lions often suffer mortal wounds when hunting buffalo, and many give the larger bulls a wide berth unless they have overwhelming numbers. Their habitat spans across much of sub-Saharan Africa, savannas, swamps, floodplains, anywhere there's water and grass. And while they often stick to herds for safety, solitary males, known as Dugga boys, are the ones that send the deepest shivers down spines. These old bulls, grumpy and unpredictable, are often found alone or in small groups, covered in mud and scars, their tempers even shorter than their patience. They are responsible for more deaths among big game hunters than any other African animal. The Cape buffalo's diet is simple: grass, leaves, and water. It doesn't kill for food, but it will kill for space, for dominance, or simply because you got too close. It doesn't need to eat you to end you. So how do you survive an encounter? Rule 1: keep your distance. Don't assume it's passive just because it's grazing. If it stares you down, lowers its head, or swishes its tail rapidly, back away slowly. Don't run. Don't turn your back. And never, ever, make the mistake of thinking it's alone. The herd is always nearby, watching, waiting. In the world of safari giants, the Cape buffalo doesn't just survive, it dominates. Not by stealth, not by speed, but by being too powerful, too aggressive, and too fearless to bow to anything short of a bullet. And even then, it sometimes keeps coming. At first glance, the African elephant may not strike you as a threat. It's massive, yes, towering over every other creature in its path. But there's a calmness in its stride, a slow, deliberate rhythm that makes it feel more like a wise guardian of the plains than a danger. But that calm is deceptive. Beneath the gentle appearance of this giant lies an unpredictable storm of raw power. When provoked, few animals on Earth are more dangerous or more devastating than the African elephant. Weighing up to 14,000 pounds and standing as high as 13 feet at the shoulder, the African elephant is the largest land animal on the planet. Its size alone is imposing, but it's the animal's behavior that has earned it a reputation as a deadly force. Elephants are incredibly intelligent, emotional, and complex creatures. They remember faces, grieve their dead, and form deep family bonds. But when those bonds are threatened, or when an elephant feels cornered or harassed, it will not hesitate to unleash fury. What makes an angry elephant so terrifying is its unpredictability. It can charge at up to 25 miles per hour, flattening trees, vehicles, or anything else in its path. A full-grown elephant doesn't just trample. It can gore with its tusks, flip a car with its trunk, or crush bones underfoot without effort. And in areas where elephants have been frequently disturbed by humans, they've been known to strike preemptively, often without warning. Their feeding habits revolve around sheer volume. An elephant consumes up to 300 pounds of vegetation daily: roots, grasses, bark, and fruits, spending most of its day foraging and feeding. This constant movement brings them close to water, making rivers, swamps, and waterholes common ground for both elephants and unsuspecting safari goers. Though they don't hunt, their territorial nature means they won't hesitate to remove anything or anyone that stands between them and their next meal or water source. Despite their size and power, elephants do face threats in the wild, though not from natural predators. Lions may target calves if they're unprotected, but adult elephants have no natural enemies other than humans. And it's the human-elephant conflict that has contributed most to their aggression. Years of poaching, habitat destruction, and harassment have left scars. In regions where elephants have been hunted or pressured, they're far more likely to be hostile toward humans. Elephants roam vast landscapes, from open savannas to forested areas, and they travel in herds led by matriarchs, older, experienced females who guide the group. These matriarchs carry generations of knowledge, including migration routes and danger zones. They are fiercely protective, and if one senses a threat, the entire herd can mobilize in seconds. If you encounter an elephant on safari, your best chance of survival lies in distance. Never block its path, never honk, shout, or move toward it. If you're in a vehicle, stay quiet and still. If you're on foot, slowly retreat while avoiding sudden movements. The key is to give it space and show no signs of aggression. The elephant is not a predator. It doesn't stalk or hunt, but make no mistake, it can kill. And when it does, it doesn't leave behind a trace of mercy. In the animal kingdom, few creatures command the same respect and fear as the elephant, because when it decides to remind the world of its strength, there's no stopping it. At the edge of Africa's rivers and lakes, where the sun scorches the mud and the reeds sway in the breeze, lurks a creature more feared than lions, more unpredictable than elephants, and far more deadly than it appears. It doesn't stalk prey or roar through the savannah. It lounges, it yawns, and yet it kills more people in Africa than almost any other wild animal. This is the hippopotamus, a tank of muscle, rage, and jaw-crushing power. Weighing up to 4,000 pounds and stretching over 16 feet long, the hippo seems like a lazy behemoth, wallowing in water, indifferent to the world. But that illusion shatters the moment it feels threatened. Hippos are fiercely territorial, especially in water, and their aggression is sudden and explosive. They don't posture, they just charge, and when they do, it's like being hit by a freight train. Their massive jaws open nearly 180 degrees, revealing tusk-like canines over a foot long. A hippo's bite force reaches over 2,000 pounds per square inch, enough to crush a crocodile. And they've done just that. Crocodiles, despite their own fearsome reputation, often regret crossing into hippo waters. What makes hippos particularly deadly is how deceptive they are. On land, they appear slow, but can run at 20 miles per hour. In water, they're even more dangerous. They don't swim. They sink and gallop along the riverbed, maneuvering with terrifying agility. They can hold their breath for 5 minutes. When boats drift too close or someone wades into their space, Hippos strike from below without warning. Canoes flip. People disappear. The attack is sudden, silent, and savage. Though herbivorous, hippos show aggression toward animals and humans alike. They graze at night, feeding on grasses along riverbanks, often wandering miles inland. But once back in the water, they become territorial enforcers. Despite their size, adult hippos have few predators. Only calves are vulnerable to lions or crocodiles. Most animals, smartly, keep their distance. It's humans who often find themselves in conflict with hippos. As farms and villages expand into river zones, encounters grow more frequent and often deadly. Fishermen, farmers, and safari-goers are all at risk if they get too close. If you're on safari near hippo territory, stay well away. Don't swim or paddle in hippo waters. Don't walk too close to riverbanks at dusk or dawn. And never get between a hippo and water. It's their lifeline, and they'll charge straight through anything to reach it. Give them space, always. The hippopotamus is nature's brutal contradiction. An herbivore with the power and rage of a predator. Quiet until provoked, but unstoppable when it is. In the hierarchy of Africa's most dangerous animals, the hippo doesn't have to chase its crown. It already wears it. Out here, in the heart of Africa's wild kingdom, survival isn't just about strength. It's about awareness, instincts, and respect. The animals we've met on this journey aren't villains. They don't hunt for sport or kill out of malice. They're survivors, products of millions of years of evolution, sculpted by harsh environments and fierce competition. From the silent stalk of the leopard to the explosive rage of the hippo, each creature rules its territory with precision, power, and purpose. A safari isn't just a sightseeing trip. It's a walk along the edge of nature's rawest forces. Every sound in the brush, every ripple on the water, every distant growl carries weight. To witness these animals in their element is to stand in the presence of nature unfiltered. But never forget, this kingdom does not bow to humans. Out here, you're not the top predator. You're the guest. And respect is the only thing that keeps you safe. So, the next time you find yourself beneath the sun-drenched skies of the African plains, remember, danger doesn't always announce itself. It may be lounging in the mud, dozing in the trees, or drifting just beneath the water's surface. Stay alert, stay humble, and never turn your back on the wild. Because in the untamed corners of the world, survival is not guaranteed.